Go woke, go broke. Dungeons and Dragons. Let's talk about it. So, John A. Douglas made a great video. I will link to that video in the description and a pinned comment. And his is a reaction to the announcement, but it got me thinking as a former player and someone that dips my toe in on the internet every now and then, why has D&D lost its magic? Part of the reason is it going mainstream. Once something goes mainstream, once it starts going into public consciousness to the level that it is now, it ends up being kind of hijacked. And when things are hijacked by social justice warriors, they immediately start gatekeeping and shutting out the fans and the people involved. So, what is the problem here? Let's talk. This quote from The Independent, which you could see in the thumbnail, "Can Dungeons & Dragons banish its racism problem? Thanks to Stranger Things, D&D is getting far more attention, but the spotlight is forcing bosses and players to reckon with the game's problematic legacy around race and representation. While some welcome a more inclusive chapter, others worry a focus on race will suck the fun out of it." And this is the thing. There are a subset of people that think magical beings and magical races are ethnic minorities. Don't forget, these are the same people that created a college dance module for D&D. I'm not kidding. No one wants to play that crap at all. It's almost hilarious at this point. Ultimately, the problem is, once things go mainstream, once more casual players come in, once the social justice warriors kind of come in, they tend to destroy it. They want something more accessible, but then alienate the original player base and then call us the problem. That's not how it should work, but that, again, a whole different discussion. Massively different discussion coming up. I miss D&D, I miss playing it, but now there are better modules, there are better versions of this game, and they're usually older versions. Because all races have in this universe, these magical beings have different qualities and different styles and all these different things. I saw this guy on Twitter ranting about it, how that was racist. It's really not. It's just everything has its strengths and weaknesses, and I feel like these people are just taking all of this stuff at face value without actually analysing any real information about it, and it's kind of sad. And this is where I think, and this is just my humble opinion, I want to clarify that one, this is my opinion, is that sometimes gatekeeping can be a good thing. And gatekeeping the wokerati out of Lord of the Rings, out of Magic the Gathering, out of Dungeons and Dragons, out of Star Trek, is a good thing. They have to realise people were into it long before they got here. And that's a big thing. And the company needs to realise this. Like, that 1% of Twitter users that bitch and moan about everything do not represent the player base at all. In any way, shape or form. They represent a 1% of the player base. And that's a massively different thing. Ultimately, I think, and it sounds really bad, but if you're going to alienate your player base, there's a major problem here. You obviously don't, many of these companies don't care, they just want to look like they're doing the right thing, and that's also another thing, the virtue signaling's off the charts. But you can't erase decades of characters and story and elements and all of this stuff and expect people to be happy about it. That's not how it works. And then again, weaponizing the criticism against it. I need to go back to playing this properly, and I really wish I could, and the same with Magic the Gathering as well. But kind of this weird focus on everything but the game. Making a game about diversity and representation. Making a game that you can go to high school and have a prom and, you know, cry in your locker. Or cry in the girls' toilets. It's not a good... This is a mess. This is genuinely a mess. And I think the mechanics of the current... Like I said, the D&D mechanics are really good. I like the mechanics. But I think it's a mistake to do what they're doing, and watch John's video for that reaction. But I also think this is going to be a huge mistake overall, because, again, alienating the players. And honestly, I'd rather play an old module and older stuff and the older rule books just because they felt so much bigger. There was so much more to them, and it feels very simplified now, which I find, I don't know really if it is, but what I'm playing online is extraordinarily simplified. Like, don't get me wrong, it's great fun, but it's missing something. And sometimes I just want to meet in a tavern, save a town, find some treasure, move on. You know, classic bit of fun. And sometimes there was one D&D experience that I had, and it suddenly went from saving the town to preparing for a festival. And it was like, oh, okay. I was like, please just kill off my character now. I was like, I made an excuse to get out of that one. I just couldn't. I actually couldn't. It seems strange what they've done and why they're doing it. And again, to appease the 1% of the population, I find fascinating. Why not remember you have a large player base with people that have been playing for a long time? I have a lot of the art books. I have a lot of the other stuff, and I've collected them over the years. And what got me into D&D was actually a box from a charity shop many lifetimes ago, thrift store for the Americans in the audience. It was £5 and it was from the 80s, and I've still got all of that stuff and all of the set. It's so cool. I want to put some of this stuff on display because it genuinely looks cool. So, tell me what you think in the comments below. Has D&D lost its magic? Just asking.